To really get an understanding of the US aid and how it functioned, we're joined by a legend of our times, a constitutional expert, King's Counsel lawyer, former Solicitor General of India, senior advocate in the Supreme Court, Mr. Hari Salve. Mr. Salve, first, thank you for being with us. The first facts that have come out today, sir, Elon Musk's US DOJ today has come out and said $21 million was taken to improve voter turnout in India. This after journalists were exposed by him in India taking money from this US aid. What is the message to these activist lawyers who are also looking at themselves as journalists, and how should the government be dealing with it?
You know, your generation may be surprised. I am not. Whether one agreed or disagreed with her policies, and I disagreed with a lot of her policies, Mrs. Gandhi provided strong and powerful leadership to India for 16 long years. She always complained about the foreign hand. From those days, there were attempts to destabilize India. So this game has been going on for a very long time. There are known organizations, I don't want to name them. You name them, you know them. One of their names is featured, which have functioned as fronts, as foundations, and which have been the channel for this deep state funding. So this has been going on for a while. I'm happy that this government in Washington is cleaning this dirt and cleaning it in public. And when this dirt is cleaned in public, some of it will touch those in other parts of the world. If the allegations are true, and there is no reason to believe that they are not, then it is deeply saddening that the family of Mrs. Gandhi has had anything to do with this deep state funding. Anyway, I hope now the government orders a detailed investigation, and I wonder if any activist will now go to Supreme Court in a PIL asking for a SIT, court-monitored investigation, BIT, FIT, CIT, KIT, whatever else they want, and have it pursued the way we have had business people pursued and reputations destroyed in the past. Let's look at these people for a change.
In fact, sir, you mentioned the family. It's also Sam Petroda's NGO in the United States, Global Knowledge Initiative, alongside his two partners who have deep ties with his global foundation. Petroda's GKI received funding from US aid and the Rockefeller Federation. So it's a direct connection with the family.
We saw somebody from the family breaking bread with India betas. So why should this surprise you?
In fact, sir, also this big controversy about Gaurav Gogoi's wife, the way she's getting into Pakistan, the entries of the Congress leaders. What is their deep desire, and what do these ties really expose?
I'm not. I don't want to comment on personal lives of politicians and their wives. All I'm saying is we have to be very careful that we, in our political battles, which are fought in India, I mean, you fight for elections, you fight to be elected in office. The job of every, as Akhilesh Yadav, I think, rightly said, elections is all about winning. So that's fair enough on the battlefield of elections. You do whatever you have to do. You build whatever narrative you want to build. Narratives are always colorful. Not everybody takes narrative seriously, but that's all a part of the game. But to allow, and worse, to invite anybody from beyond our borders to help in the electoral process is the first step towards dismantling our democracy.
So those are very strong words spoken by someone who's been at the very forefront when it comes to the freedom of speech, expression, also the press. You've always been someone trying to empower the press. Even journalists have been taking money from these organizations. Their names have come out, their activist names have come out, the NGOs who've been taking money have come out, the names. What should be done with these anti-Indians?
I think the first step the government has to do, because there are foreign contribution regulation laws, the first thing the government has to do is ask the US State Department for official disclosures. Get proper evidence, not gossip. Get proper evidence of who was paid how much. Call for a full disclosure, call them, ask them to give explanations. Maybe there are some wrong names, maybe there are some mistakes. And then the least the government does is owe a white paper so that the people of India know what's going on.
So you were a part of One Nation, One India. Do you think it's going to become a reality soon?
I hope so.
Okay, so my final two questions are going to be on former Chief Justice of India, Justice Chandrachud, who's giving out a lot of interviews to BBC and other Western media outlets. It's been trending for the wrong reasons. What are we supposed to think of it when answers are not able to come out?
The fear of offending a Supreme Court judge makes all of you docile. You get a BBC journalist, you should know you're heading for trouble. The second and more important thing, and I'm planning to write an article on this, because this raises issues of great moment. The Chief Justice of India is a part of the Supreme Court of India, and I don't think he should be speaking of what the court does, because it's not him, but the Supreme Court, which was actually on trial in that interview. We always say judges should only speak through their judgments. Take the Article 370. The judgments gave reasons why it upheld. You bring this up in a private interview and your motives for the judgment are questioned. All sorts of aspersions were cast. Also, when you sit in an interview like this, he was asked why he did not hear the Citizenship Amendment Act case. Who's a journalist to ask why our Supreme Court hears a case or doesn't hear a case? So, and what was the underlying suggestion? That the Supreme Court has lost its duty to the Constitution in holding the balance even between different castes and communities? So this is the complete danger of giving interviews on judicial work. You want to give interviews on administrative work, on how you've introduced technology, how you're working on improving the lot of the complete near defunct legal system and where there are staggering areas. Speak about that. Don't speak about judgments ever.
I think the larger picture that you said is when he spoke about this, the Supreme Court was on trial. It's not only this, sir. Every time there is any PIL that is filed that is asking for questioning the electoral voter turnout and other things, whether the EVMs are being questioned, to be answering to a foreign government is something that judges should possibly not be doing at this point.
Judges should speak through their judgments. And then we follow the discipline. We may criticize their judgments, we may discuss their judgments, we may tear into their judgments, but we don't discuss judges. What you've done is you put his judges on trial, not judgments.
Sir, final words. When it comes to people who are now speaking out, judges who are speaking out, what about this lobby in the Supreme Court that was trying to intimidate the judges at one time and trying to bully them in a way of trying to hear some cases here or there?
See, this cut and thrust in the Supreme Court should remain inside the courtrooms and at worst gossiped about in the corridors of the Supreme Court, but not beyond. Don't take this seriously. Our judges are made of sterner stuff. They know how to deal with these people.
Thank you, sir. Because what we've got a sense here right now is when the US aid is giving money to journalists or the family, there is a certain question that is now being put on how they want to destabilize India. The larger picture also that when it comes to interviews, it's to Republic TV they should be given rather than international rags.